Hi, welcome to another video. I just thought I'd do a quick overview of how I use solar energy in and around my garden. I use this at the bottom of the garden. We have like a patio area at the bottom of the garden where we have quite a nice view of countryside, and we've actually got some sunshine today there somewhere, which is quite nice. So we tend to sit down here so we can listen to music. I use this 25 watt solar panel to charge up my previously featured first aid box power bank. It's a solar accumulator, solar generator as they seem to be called in the States certainly, but I tend to call it a solar accumulator because it just accumulates. This one's got kind of like a panel meter on it, which gives you an idea of its charge capacity. This has got a very old 7 amp hour sealed lead acid in it. I've tested it, it's about 5.5 amps, so I've calibrated this for 5.5 amps. For charging things like smartphones and Bluetooth speakers, it's absolutely fine. It also has 12 volt outputs that I can use for powering, say, a tyre inflator, although it won't actually power for very long because it's only a very small battery. But it's got like the USBs, and it's got one of my PWM charge controllers in it, or one of my redesigns of Julian Eylett's PWM5 I should say, which is here, little tiny thing flashing away. What this does is it takes the power from the solar panel and basically makes sure that the solar panel can never overcharge the 7 amp hour lead acid battery. This is the shunt for the panel meter, which is here, and then there's the connections to the outputs. It's very crude, thrown together in a couple of hours, but it does what it needs to. It's absolutely perfect for down the bottom of the garden, just for powering mobile devices. Additionally, I use solar energy to charge these lights, which are the Chinese call them copper wire LEDs. They're microscopic LEDs on some very fine copper wire. There's a thin finger size for comparison. These all are fed into the underside of the eaves on my storage shed. On the storage shed there's just a 5 watt solar panel in the corner there, and these are strung all around just for prettiness really. They light up at night. In here I have a cheap Chinese charge controller. I only use these because they're very cheap, it doesn't matter if it gets ruined, and it has the timer function so that it can run the lights a certain number of hours after the solar energy has stopped being produced, so at night time. This one's set for 5 hours. Again, I've got a 7.5 amp hour or 7 amp hour UASA lead acid battery in here. I've also got one of these accumulative kind of like power meters. You can see over the period that this has been installed in this shed, it's nearly 5.4 kilowatts. So it's quite a lot of energy has been pulled from that 5 watt solar panel over the years, but it's been here several years this now. All of those lights are really USB powered, and I've got one of these, just a cheap USB 12 volt USB thing, and it feeds all of the lights. They just disappear through the eaves there, so I use that down at this part of the garden. I've also got one of these 10 watt 12 volt LEDs, which is powered by just a standard domestic UK light switch. It's wired all the way around with pretty much bell wire, but this uses this thing here uses about 4 or 5 watts, so the bell wire is fine. It produces sufficient light so that you can come into here at night time, load the bicycles away, because we store the bikes in here, and just generally provide a bit of background lighting should we need it in the dark. I also store my Works battery powered lawnmower here, which I charge the batteries for using solar power as well, but that's up in my workshop. So this is the bottom of the garden. It just does what we need. It's a nice place to be in the summertime, especially when the sun's shining, and we have just a small amount of power down here to provide the necessary energy we need. At the top of the garden I have a hot tub which is under here, full of water, and I use solar energy to heat this. How I do that is, on the roof I've got a solar collector, which is basically a wooden box with a plastic lid and black domestic hose pipe coiled up inside it. I then power this again with solar power. This is the cheap charge controller that I use just to power the battery for this particular system, and I've created this module here. These two here, this is actually incorrect. That's the hot tub temperature. It's considerably hotter than that. It's 37 degrees, but this is gone out of whack. I suspect the sensor has failed. This is the temperature of the solar collector, so it's showing 39.3. The red light here is signifying that the pump is running. In the pool I have a pump which basically pumps water from the pool up to the solar collector and then back down to the pool again, under the control of a dual thermostat. So basically when the collector on the roof, which is up just above there, is 3 degrees hotter than the temperature of the pool, the pump starts up and it pumps the water to circulate water from the collector back down into the tank, into the hot tub. By doing that, it enables this to maintain its temperature in the daytime pretty well, so that minimises my electrical uses. The hot tub's one of these kind of like £300, £250 kind of like portable things. So it has the display on the top here. The green light means that it's in standby mode. It goes red when it's heating. As you can see, it's in standby mode. This signifies it's pumping, and it's currently showing 37 degrees. And this is showing 39.2. These aren't 100% accurate. They're just fairly low resolution, non-calibrated displays. They just give a quick visual display, and at the minute you have to ignore this bottom one anyway. So it's around 40 degrees up the top. So because it's about a 3 degree swing between the upper temperature and the hot tub temperature, it's pumping. This does cycle on and off. Once this has cooled down sufficiently, the pump goes off and allows the solar panels that are on the roof of here to top the battery back up. But that's just an overview of how I'm using solar energy in my garden. Thanks for watching.